the darling's name is, and through the barony her features they were famous. If we loved her, then who was there to blame us? For wasn't she the pride of Petriford? But her beauty made us look so shy, not a man could look her in the eye. Boys, oh boys, sure that's the reason why we're in mourning for the pride of Petriford. Eileen, oh, me heart is growing grey, ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petriford. Friday at the fair in Ballintubber, Eileen met McGrath the cattle jobber. I'd like to set me mark upon the robber, for he stole away the pride of Petriford. He never seemed to see the girl at all, even when she hauled him from underneath her shawl. Looking big and masterful when she was looking small, most provoking for the pride of Petriford. Eileen, oh, me heart is growing grey, ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petriford. So it went as it was in the beginning. Eileen Hogg was bent upon the winning. Big McGrath contentedly was grinning, being courted by the pride of Petriford. Says he, I know a girl that could knock into fits, as that Eileen nearly lost her wits. The upshot of their auction was that now the robber sits with his arm around the pride of Petriford. Eileen, oh, me heart is growing grey, ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petriford. Eileen, oh, me heart is growing grey, ever since the day you wandered far away. Eileen, oh, there's good fish in the sea, but there's none of them like the pride of Petriford.
Welcome everybody to this year's Pierce French concert. My name is Kevin and I'm joined by my three cousins, Isabella, Cecilia and Maria. And now we'll be performing Come Back Paddy Riley to Bally James Duff. Join in if you know it.
Halfway going to sing probably one of my favourite of the Percy French songs, MacBreen's Heifer. And of course it tells the story of young Jamesy O'Byrne, who dithered over which of MacBreen's daughters he'd like to marry. Firstly, the one who could charm a bird off a bush, or then there was plain Jane, the one whose lack of physical beauty was balanced out by the provision of a heifer. Poor Jamesy, clearly not the least bit romantic, asked the schoolmaster which one should he choose. And then the schoolmaster eventually weighed up the options and thought that Jane might be the better option. But unfortunately, in the meantime, the two girls had found two other men. So the moral of the story, he who hesitates.
Kitty was pretty, but Jane was plain. So to make up the differ, MacBreen would explain. He'd give the best heifer he had in the land as a sort of a bonus with Jane at his stand. But then Kitty would charm a bird off a bush, and that left the lad in a horrid non-blush. Now there's no denying Kitty was remarkably pretty, though I can't say the same for Jane. But still there's not to differ of the price of a heifer between the pretty and the plain. Entirely bothered was Jamesy O'Byrne. He thought that he'd give the schoolmaster a turn. Says he to wait Kitty was very good fun, but a heifer's a heifer when all's said and done. A girl, she might lose her good looks anyhow, and a heifer might grow to an elegant cow. But still there's no price for a stock-eaten mine, and Jane had the face that the devil designed. Now there's no denying Kitty was remarkably pretty, though I can't say the same for Jane. But still there's not to differ of the price of a heifer between the pretty and the plain. The schoolmaster said with a great deal of sense, "We'll reduce the two girls by a shilling a pence. Add that to the heifer, then Jane'll be bound. We'll come out on top by a couple of pound." But still I'm forgetting that down in Glencoe, where the stock is just going for nothing at all. So Jim thought he'd wait till the end of next year, when girls might be cheaper and stock might be dear. But when he came for Kitty, she was married to McWhitty, and McLean had appropriated Jane. So whenever there's a differ of the price of a heifer, is a thing that he never could explain. So whenever there's a differ of the price of a heifer, is a thing that he never could explain.
Move away a little bit from Percy French, and we're going to sing probably one of our family favourite songs, Muhiel Lamar, which I suppose was probably made famous by Sean O'Riordan, the Cork composer. The original lyrics, or the poem, it's made up of two poems. They were written by the poet Sean Clorach Macdonald.
Shame o eis ur gillam sin, ní vorras fin, o quick again by Yillamar. Quick my Yillamar.
And now for our cutest member of the group, little Izzy, as we call her. And she's going to sing the lovely little Irish song, Dilly No Douse. I'm sure we would have all learnt it in school. So, and she'd love you all to join in too, wouldn't she?
Izzy?
Yeah.
Izzy.
Dilly no douse, so douse, dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, so douse, so dilly no douse, so dee. Quid it malu consoon, quid it malu lally, quid it malu consoon, cohula, dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, so douse, so dilly no douse, so dee. Is buchel ma soerste, soerste, is buchel ma soerste pot. Is buchel ma soerste, 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 is calling just corny God. Dilly no douse, so douse, dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, so douse, so dilly no douse, so dee. Is buchel a neer en neer, is buchel a neer on far. Is buchel a neer en neer en neer, is calling on Sweerbot man. Dilly no douse, so douse, dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, so douse, so dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, so douse, so dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, dilly no douse, so dee. Dilly no douse, so douse, so douse, so dilly no douse, so dee.
Thank you very much. And Maria here, my daughter, a proud father, she's now going to play 3 songs. First is a lovely air called Inisher, and then we're going to do 2 pieces to get the feet tapping here. So here we go, Maria. must apologise there, but the air actually gave an introduction, a completely different song there. So, but she picked it up really well. Now we're going to go from sunny Ireland over to sunny England and the Ascot races, and do a couple of songs from one of my favourite musicals, and I think it's one of their favourites, and it's My Fair Lady. And Maria's now going to be Eliza, the flower girl, dreaming about nice things, and then we're going to go to the races after that. They're going to become very posh then. So here we go.
All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous chair. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of coal making lots of heat, warm face, warm hands, warm feet. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Oh, so lovely, sitting absolutely still. I would never budge till spring crept over me windowsill. Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be, who takes good care of me. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Lovely, 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 lovely. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Lovely, oh so lovely, sitting absolutely still. I would never budge till spring crept over me windowsill. Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be, who takes good care of me. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely, 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 lovely. Every Duke and Earl and Peer is here. Everyone who should be here is here. What a smashing, positively dashing spectacle, the Ascot opening day. At the gate are all the horses waiting for the cue to fly away. What a gripping, absolutely ripping moment of the Ascot opening day. Pulses rushing, faces blushing, heartbeats speed up. I have never been so keyed up. Any second now they'll begin to run. Hark, a bell is ringing, they are springing forward. Look, it has begun.
Those are the horses, sorry.
What a frenzied moment that was, didn't they maintain an exhausting pace? 'Twas a thrilling, absolutely chilling running of the Ascot opening day. Pulses rushing, faces flashing, heartbeats speed up. I have never been so keyed up. Any second now they'll begin to run. Hark, a bell is ringing, they are springing forward. Look, it has begun.
That one's a bit lame, sorry.
What a frenzied moment that was, didn't they maintain an exhausting pace? 'Twas a thrilling, absolutely chilling running of the Ascot opening day. Dear Danny, I'm taking the pen in me hand to tell you we're just out of sight of the land. In the Grand Annan liner, we're sailing in style, but I'm sailing away from the Emerald Isle. And a long sigh seemed to come from us all when the waves hit the last bit of old Donegal. Ah, it's well to be you that has taken your tay, where they're cutting the corn in Creeshla today. I spoke to the captain, he won't turn her round, and if I swam back, I'd be apt to be drowned. So here I must stay, oh, I've no cause to fret. The dinner was what you might call a banquet, but though it was sumptuous, I'd swap the whole lot for the owl's wooden spoon and the stir-about pot, and sweet Katie Farrell a-wetting the tay, where they're cutting the corn in Creeshla today.
If Casey is courted by Patsy or Mick, put a word in for me with the lump of a shtick. Don't kill Patsy outright, he has no sort of chance. But Mickey's a rogue, you might murder at once. For Katie might think, as the longer she waits, a boy in the hand is worth two in the States, and she'll promise to honor, to love and obey some robber that's roaming round Creeshla today.
Now, they're going to perform two more Percy French songs. Hopefully we will be including some of your favourites in here. The first one is Abdullah Bulbul Amir, And the second one then is probably one of his most entertaining ones, I think anyway. Are you right there, Michael? Are you right? So of course, as we know, Percy French spent most of his time enjoying himself during his college years. Hence it took him so long to finally take out his degrees. But during that time he was productive, and he wrote this first song in 1877, Abdullah Bulbul Amir, and it was written for a smoking concert at Trinity. Unfortunately, poor, maybe naive, I don't know, Percy French neglected to take out the copyright for the song, and of course it was published by another publishing house in London without any acknowledgement of the actual real composer. So unfortunately the poor man made no money whatsoever from his first song. Hopefully he learned from that after. And then we're going to follow that up with either the West Clare Railway or You're Right There, Michael, Are You Right? And I think it's one of his most entertaining songs, of course, ridiculing the West Clare Railway. Percy French then ironically sets the saga of his difficulties in trying to reach the gig or the concert in Kilkee, and he sets this scene against the epic story of Columbus trying to reach the New World. So when French and his troupe eventually got to Moores Hall in Kilkee, most of the audience had left because he was so late, and of course the takings or the receipts were very, very low. The song then caused such an embarrassment to the railway company that it led to a libel case, and I love the quote at the end of it, which they lost. Percy French won, and then folklore has it that Percy French arrived also late for the libel hearing, and when questioned by the judge on his lateness, he responded, "Your Honour, I travelled by the West Clare Railway," so resulting in the case being thrown out, and he was awarded damages of £10. So we hope you enjoy the two of these, and of course sing along, because we love the all the people singing along. Mountains of Mourne? Yes. This is our Nana's favourite one, so we have to do this one. It's interesting, I suppose, that Percy French, even though he travelled so extensively in Canada, all America, the West Indies and Switzerland, and of course Ireland and England, but home was always Ireland. And even when he lived in London for so many years, he loved coming home to Ireland. And I suppose maybe that's the reason why he wrote so many songs and poems about emigration and how that affected Irish people. So we're going to sing The Mountains of Mourne. And this is dedicated to my mother, the kiddies, Nana, who's actually, she's in hospital at the moment. So our thoughts are for her. It's also to our other granny who's in the corner there. Granny Anne over there. We have to say hello to her too.
To how the fine ladies in London were dressed. Well, if you believe me when asked to a ball, faith, they don't wear a top to their dresses at all. I've seen them myself, and you could not in truth say if they were bound for a ball or a bath. Don't be starting them fashions now, Mary McCree, where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea. You remember young Peter O'Loughlin, of course, and here he is now at the head of the force. I met him today, I was crossing the Strand, and he stopped Lord Street with one wave of his hand, and there we stood talking of days that are gone, while the whole population of London looked on. But for all these great powers, he's wishful like me, to be back where the dark morn sweeps down to the sea, to be back where the dark morn sweeps down to the sea.
And now for our final piece.
So thank you so much for listening and joining in with the children here. And in the spirit of musicals, we've arranged a piece that you will all recognize. And it's the children's way of saying goodbye and thank you for your company. And it's from The Sound of Music.
There's a sad sort of clanging from the clock in the hall, and the bells in the steeple too. And up in the nursery an absurd little bird is popping out to say cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo.
Regretfully they tell us, but firmly they compel us to say goodbye
to you. So long, farewell, la vida's an adieu.
Adieu, adieu to you. and you and you.
So long, farewell, Avida, Vida Zane.
I'd like to stay and taste my first champagne.
No.
Yes.
So long, farewell, Avida Zane, goodbye. I leave and heave a sigh and say goodbye, goodbye. So long, farewell, Avida Zane, goodbye, goodbye,
I got stung by a wasp. I got stung by a wasp.
Ladies and gentlemen, after that wonderful musical interlude, we finished with Vincent Pierse, from whom we heard this morning, and he's going to do a small recitation or a joke or a piece of verse of his own invention. Vincent Pierse. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, because that's the last you're going to hear from me this year. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're able to hang on for another 10 or 15 minutes. This heat in here, it's overpowering. But anyway, I won't delay you too long. I'll tell you a couple of stories. There was this young fella. I suppose he lived about maybe 7 or 8 miles from where I'm standing. The poor fella, he came from a broken home. No one to guide him in the right direction. He'd get a day's work here and there with farmers, picking stones, throwing in loads of turf. All that heavy sort of work and getting very little reward for it. He played football and hurling with his local club, and he was a great athlete. Kind of a fella now, he'd go through you for a shortcut. Very honest to God, lad. Now, he had a neighbour who used to keep an eye on him and give him a bit of advice from time to time. He was very good to him. Always advised him. And one evening he met him on the way home after a match, and he said to him, Michael, he said, you know, he said, my eldest lad now, he said, he went over to London last year, he said, and he's doing very well over there. And that lad you played Ceathair with this evening now, he said, that other son of mine, he's going over in a week's time, he said. And if I was in your shoes, he said, that's what I do, I'd go to London, he said, because if you stay around here, he said, you'll never make a living for yourself. You'll get lots of work, all right, but very little reward for it. And he said, I'll drop a line to my eldest lad now and I'll tell him to look out for a job for you over there. And he said, I think you'll do very well. So he took his advice and he went to London. All this was happening now in the late 50s, around the time John B. Keane got the inspiration to write that great play, Many Young Men of 20 Said Goodbye. Immigration at that time in Ireland was at an all-time high. So he went to London. He got a job with John Murphy Civil Engineering. He got a place to stay in a place called Willesden. He'd have to climb on the back of a lorry at about 7:15 in the morning, drive out the country, spend the whole day digging trenches. Now some of these trenches were 4, 5, 6 and 7 feet deep. But he wasn't one bit afraid to work. He'd work 5, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. He was earning good money. He'd be dropped off in the evening at Willesden Station at about 6:15. And he'd go into the cafe and have his dinner. And if the humour was on him, he might go into the Spotted Dog pub and have a pint, and sometimes two. But he always got home early and he was in bed early, never missed a day's work. And the barman in the Spotted Dog pub noticed that this lad was always on his own. He seemed to have no friends. And he got talking to him one evening. He said, tell me, he said, where are you from? Oh, he said, I'm from Roscommon, he said. And how long are you over here? Ah, he said, I came over after Christmas. He said, I don't like it here at all. He said, I've no friends. He said, I know no one. He said, I'm missing home. I'm missing playing the matches. He said, and I've no contact at all with Ireland. He said, and I'm finding it very hard to settle here. And the barman said to him, he said, do you not get the Roscommon paper? They sell it down the road there on the left. Ah, he said, that's my problem, he said. That's my problem, he said, I can't read or write. Oh, God, I'm very sorry to hear that, the barman said, very sorry to hear that. And then the barman got a brainwave and he said, I'll tell you what, he said. There's a man from Roscommon, he comes in here every Thursday evening. He sits over by that window and he has the Roscommon paper and he reads it from cover to cover. He said, the next Thursday evening you're in here, I'm going to introduce you to him and he'll fill you in on all the news. Every Thursday evening they'd meet, they'd have a couple of drinks. He'd go through the paper, read the death notices, the sports results, everything of a bit of interest to him and fill him in on all the news. And some time later, he was going through the paper one evening. And he said, oh my God, he said, look at this, he said. There's the job now, he said, that it suit you down to the ground, he said. Back in Roscommon, he said, Roscommon County Council are looking for a grave digger. He said, you'd be well able to do that job. Oh, he said, I'd have no trouble. I could dig 3 or 4 graves in a day, no problem, he said. Well, he said, you're not happy here. He said, if I was in your shoes, he said, I'd go home, he said, and I'd apply for the job. So he came back to Roscommon, went into the council office. The girl at reception, she said, come with me. She said, I'll show you up to the engineer that's dealing with it. The engineer sat him down. They had a good long chat, what experience he had. He told him he was digging trenches for the last 9 months or so, and he'd no trouble digging 4 or 5 graves if he had in a day. Now he said, you seem a very suitable applicant for the job. But now he said, what you'll do, he said, there's a couple more people have applied for it. He said, I'll give you these forms here. He said, you fill them in, he said, and hand them to me, and I'll be in touch with you in the next week or so. And he handed him the forms, and he said, that's my problem. He said, I can't read or write. Oh, God, he said, if you can't read or write, he said, I can't give you the job. And he said, what has that got to do with digging graves? Now, he said, you have to keep a logbook, he said, and fill it in every day, he said. The date of the burial, the time of the burial, all that, we have to keep a record of all them things, he said. There's people coming in here every day, he said, from all different parts of the world, tracing their relations and their burial places and that. We have to keep a record of all that. And he said, I'm very sorry, he said, but I can't give you the job. Now, he came out of there and he wasn't very bad for him. but he had a good bit of money saved up, and he knew there was another neighbour of his up the road that was going to America in about a week's time, so he approached him. And he said to him, I hear you're going to America next week. He said, that's right. He said, would you mind, he said, if I travelled with you? No problem at all. He said, you're welcome. So he went to America. And don't ask me what kind of work he got into in America, but in the space of 10 years, he came back a multi-millionaire. And he decided he'd invest his money in one of the banks in Dublin, and no one would know his business. So he went into one of the banks in Dublin, and he said to the girl at reception, what interest rates are you paying? Well, she said, it depends on how much money you're investing, she said. The more money you have, the better the rates. Well, he said, I have 7.5 million. Oh my God, she said, can you take a seat there? She said, I want to talk to the manager. So she got on the phone to the manager, and the manager said to her, will you put on the kettle? He said, make a couple of hot whiskies, in a plate of sandwiches, bring him up here to my office. We can't lose a good customer like him. So she brought him up to the manager's office, and he sat him down, and they had a good long chat, maybe for half an hour or maybe 3/4 of an hour. Told him what he was doing in America and all this and that. So now, he said, we have agreed on the rates and everything. He said, everything seems to be fine. He said, if you fill in these forms for me now, he said, and that'll be all business sorted. And he handed him the forms, and he said, that's my problem. He said, I can read or write. He said, you can read or write, he said, and you've come back from America with 7.5 million. My God, he said, what would you have done if you had been able to read and write? He said, they'd be ficking digging graves for Roscommon County Council. Now, they were talking about the technology earlier on in the day, and sure, we're all struggling with the technology, and I'm struggling with it big time. But I want to let you hear this little thing. Now, when I was a young lad, how simple was life. I never knew bother or trouble or strife. My folk drove around in a pony and trap, and I never once had ever think of WhatsApp. Now my WhatsApp is down, oh my WhatsApp is down. There's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Oh con, oh con, oh con, oh con, oh. There's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. The postman brought letters each day on his round. Our money was pennies and shillings and pounds. The phone was very rare on our map. Not so long ago, sure, there was no WhatsApp. In no time at all, sure, we had mobile phones. The internet landed into every home. Smartphone and iPhone and even Snapchat, Viber emails and nothing called WhatsApp. My WhatsApp is down, oh my WhatsApp is down. There's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Oh con, oh con, oh con, oh con, oh. There's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Then the phone box appeared at our local crossroads. We were so up to date with the numbers and codes. We could press button A, we could talk, we could chat. It was a far cry back then from a thing called WhatsApp. In no time at all, sure, we had mobile phones. The internet landed into every home. Smartphone and iPhone and even Snapchat, Viber emails and nothing called WhatsApp. I decided myself that I'd follow the trend. The lad in the shop said you'll gain lots of friends. So I bought me a Sony with stat-nav and map. But the best of it all was it had a WhatsApp. A young child from next door set me up with my group. She told me it was essential to stay in the loop. You can photos and notes and exchange this and that, all because of that wonderful gift called WhatsApp. My WhatsApp is down, oh my WhatsApp is down. There's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Oh, corn, oh, corn, oh, corn, oh, corn, oh, there's nothing as bad as your WhatsApping down. In no time at all I was stuck to the phone. If I left it aside I felt so much alone. Twitter and Facebook became such a trap. Oh, how I love to be on the WhatsApp. I get photos of people that I've never known, their dogs and their cats and their luxuries home. Sometimes late at night in a state of unwrap. Many times every day I would get a WhatsApp. My WhatsApp is down, oh my WhatsApp is down. There's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Oh corn, oh corn, oh corn, oh corn, oh, there's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Then all of a sudden things came to a halt. My Sony rep said overload was the fault. I don't understand what caused this mishap. All I know is I'm left without my WhatsApp. Now I can't send my photos to anyone now. The shots of my collie, my hens and my cow. My latest success with my trusted mouse trap. Sure, I'm sad and alone without my WhatsApp. My WhatsApp is down, oh my WhatsApp is down. There's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Oh corn, oh corn, oh corn, oh corn, oh, there's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Do you think you could help me at all with my plight? I come back to watching TV every night. You could try something small, a sort of stopgap that could bring back some life to my crippled WhatsApp. Now, if you want me to send you the words of this song, I'll do it right now on the phone, 'twon't take long. I'll attach it right here and with one gentle tap. Oh no, I can't, it's the bloody WhatsApp. Oh, my WhatsApp is down, my WhatsApp is down. Nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Oh corn, oh corn, oh corn, oh corn, oh, there's nothing as bad as your WhatsApp being down. Riddle-dum diddle-dum diddly-dum-dum, riddle-dum doodle-dum diddly-dum-dum, riddle-dum doodle-dum diddly-dum-dum, diddle-da-roodle-dum diddly-dum-dum. Thank you very much. Thank you. I must say that group that were on there, they were absolutely beautiful, that young group. And put your hands together again for them. Give them a big round of applause. They were wonderful. Thank you very much. Have a safe journey home, all of you. God bless. Bye-bye.